Yeah, and that does mean that FlyQuest is going to need to find the angles for the Scion, for the Pantheon. Again, this is not the guaranteed go button since the Scion ulti has so much telegraph to it.
Focus on the grubs, and FlyQuest, the reason they're opting for the grubs instead of Dragon, obviously is because they have the split push capabilities in their draft. They want that grub power for the Rise, for the Scion, for the Pantheon, to be able to really put some pressure on the map. And G2, the appropriate response, they will take their Dragon.
Cross map is solid, but a very slow and controlled game with FlyQuest amassing an advantage, largely thanks to their map movements.
On the ultimate for Caps, alongside that super long flash cooldown you guys are already talking about. So if G2 want to fight Masu though, nice flash in response. Lebrov wanted to go for the flash pulverize, then get the headbutt backwards, but it doesn't work out. Now Busio sees Broken Blade coming in for the flank, but he roots him up defensively. FlyQuest bringing in the backup. Mantra Q hits Broken Blade and Lebrov. Broken Blade here on the very front line. Decimate's not going to find him. Caps and Lebrov putting a little bit of damage into Quad. They're going to catch him out on the very side of the fight. Miasma to lock him up, but he flashes away. Now Scumon's ready to come in here with a Nature's Grasp. G2, beautiful start to the fight as Bwipo tries to get away, but it's first blood over to Han Sama. Quad very low as he tries to escape, and G2 get a one for nothing.
G2 draw them in. FlyQuest trying to go around this wall here. Bwipo wanted to cut off the Casio that had no flash, but G2 was right there, Vedius, and so they blast him down, and they're going to be able to take this Dragon, unless Masu can snipe it.
Let's see, doesn't look like there's any chance of it. Not gonna happen. I said as soon as we saw it in the draft, G2 Maokai, they play so well around neutral objectives.
Angle there from Scumont.
And you can see here, both these junglers are big performers for their teams. Kill percentage, they're responsible for a lot of the action that happens here. Tier 1 games played though, large difference. Inspired, being around a lot longer than Scumont is now. Looks like Caps has found plenty of damage into Bwipo as the Scion has to try to escape this Cassiopeia. Decimating smash right in turret range. Bwipo with the solo bolo on Caps. There's a snake in his boot and he's stomping.
Vedius right into tower range.
Right on the edge of the tower range is Masu now. There's no way out of that one. Beautiful angle from Lebrov. The Varus might have range, but when the Alistar gets the perfect engage, there's no chance out. Plays around the Dragon. After they find that pick onto Masu as well, they're feeling really good as Broken Blade's in some danger. Inspired's ready to join here with a Grand Starfall. The Infernal Chain's gonna pull him back a little bit. Broken Blade doing a great job healing up. Decimating Smash finds another stun. Quad's ready, and Inspired gets the last hit. FlyQuest are going to tie up the kills 2-2, and they're moving on, looking to take the first turret of the game as well. They'll have no trouble doing it. They got 3 grubs. There's no plates. FlyQuest are going to take that one, and now the next neutral objective or the next kill will secure either one of those feats as well.
Exactly, and now that we are into the mid-game, we're really going to get to see both these teams play to their compositions. Actually, sticking around a long time up there, Bwipo, they are going to send multiple people here. Can Lebrov find?
All right, Bwipo. Let's see if he can try to get out of this one, but with no ulti, it's going to be tough. Bwipo trying to keep the escape going here, but just turns around, goes for the decimating smash on the Caps. He knows there's no way to escape this one. Lebrov just providing enough CC there for Caps and Scumont to be able to take down this Scion. So G2 now claims the feat of warfare. 12-13 minutes. Those boots could be a big difference maker.
I will say, though, a lot of this is going FlyQuest's way simply because all of the damage that was done in the earlier matchup meant that the bot tower was already very weak, while so many resources were spent on the top side for G2.
Himself out of the CC, make sure he was able to escape before Scumont showed up and provided follow-up lockdown. Quad making his way back out from the base, ready to join up with the rest of the team. The Rift Herald is going to be summoned up mid by FlyQuest, but G2 have already made their way onto the Dragon. Bwipo's going in. Looks like FlyQuest wants to take some sort of a fight here, but the Drake is already going to be claimed by Scumont. Broken Blade taking some damage here in the pit, but he's doing a beautiful job healing back up. Lebrov now into the back line of FlyQuest. Masu's going to be punted forward. More damage over the FlyQuest AD carry, but he's getting away for now. Caps has to run. He tries to escape. Nobody's dead on either side here just yet, but a massive force shot coming out from Han Sama. G2 and FlyQuest both hurt, both leaving, but G2 got the big win. G2 is on Soul Point, and they've earned themselves the boots as well.
Right now, FlyQuest kind of harrying them on the outside too, but it's so dangerous. Masu's almost dead.
Masu's at 50 HP. Broken Blade's going over the wall. Masu gets a shield there from Busio as they all try to escape, and now Broken Blade's gonna take a bunch of damage, locked up into the Rune Prison. A little bit more damage would have done it, but FlyQuest don't have it.
What is going on right now? Everyone is just so low, but no one is falling. FlyQuest got 2 towers in mid lane.
360 make it 6 in the middle of the sentence, but Hansama has completed Infinity Edge on the Jhin. Absolutely massive on that one. As Whippo finds Caps here, jumps right back in for the ulti. There's the inspired ult, and he knows this time. He's ready. He turns his back. He prevents being turned to stone, and they find the pick under the G2 mid.
An excellent punish from FlyQuest.
Objective, and G2's not even going to approach. Hansama's nearby. He'll fire off a deadly flourish, I'm sure, to just try to see if he can get the 1 in 100 chance to maybe snipe it out. There should be no world. It got down to 26. If there was a deadly flourish there, that could have actually been the 1 in 100, but
Good, we get
not
the blood
happening.
pumping. Little excitement there, huh? Even in the lulls.
For a bit more. Caps takes a chunk.
LeBron.
FlyQuest with control over the river right now. LeBron off to the side. He has regenerated his HP, but now Skewmont is down to 1/3. Inspired makes the engage on the Caps, and the Cassiopeia is already down. G2 have lost their cannon, and they're about to lose the ship. FlyQuest go in with a massive realm warp, and they're ready to chase down the rest. LeBron is caught, and it's beef for dinner. FlyQuest are eating good.
I feel like LeBron was so late on his reset back to base that it allowed FlyQuest so much time here to get poke off early. They got early health leads, and then they jump again onto Caps. They take down the Cassiopeia, and they will put a stop to the dragon stacking.
I think Masu's positioning was fantastic in this play, and afraid to throw out things like the ultimate, to use either Ryze's ultimate or the Pantheon ultimate, just to see how G2 reacts. And Quad now out of position.
Yeah, Quad is in some serious danger. LeBron ready to set it up and catch the Ryze immediately into the petrifying gaze. Quad using his arm guard for a whole lot of nothing. It's a kill plus a wasted active, as FlyQuest had nobody around in time to try to back him up. G2 with a huge pick on the FlyQuest mid laner, now trying to make an approach towards the Baron as Busio and Masu try to pelt them with skill shots on their approach. Whippo and Inspired making their way up, but keep your eyes on Broken Blade. He's coming around from the side, but Inspired's ready to intercept him. Busio trying to get away. He's caught at the very edge of the Nature's Grasp. Broken Blade is low, but it does not matter. He's Aatrox. He's gonna heal right, back, up. Caps low, but not in that much danger. Seraph's giving him the shield, keeping him alive. Masu still firing. Whippo and Inspired trying to help. It's a 5v3. G2 make their way onto the Baron, and FlyQuest wants to step up to try to stop it. Masu's the only damage really remaining. Inspired tries to go in, but the Miasma's already ready to try to take care of him. Inspired throwing up the shield. Whippo and Masu stuck in the pit, looking to deal with the Baron. Inspired going right back in, but he's already going to be knocked into the Guardian Angel. It's stolen away by Masu! 2v5 now. FlyQuest trying to fight back. Broken Blade wants to get away. Inspired back to life for the Guardian Angel. FlyQuest with the miracle resist at the Baron pit.
Away from the threats, trying to remove the smite on the side of G2, forcing Skewmont to flash over the wall, and now the smite is gone. Even though Inspired loses his life, he has the GA, and now it's a race to try and last hit the Baron.
He has the Q. They pop it there. Really big props to Inspired. Inspired sacrificed his life.
Hit on G2.
And he's got the Axiom Arc as well for more ultimates to just keep throwing it out, looking for more, but LeBron is looking.
Masu getting caught. This is massive engage coming out from G2, but Caps takes a lot of damage before Masu dies. Whippo's made his way onto the G2 mid laner. LeBron and Caps are both low, but Caps still standing for now. Finally going to be brought down. Busio taking the kill credits as LeBron wants to use the Crouch as an escape mechanism, but it will not work. FlyQuest make it a 2-for-1. They've lost Masu, but they still have Quad for the damage, and Inspired and Whippo are a hell of a front line. The tier 2 turret here on the top side will fall as FlyQuest continue their push. The Baron may have worn away, but they've got a full wave, and they've still got all 3 Void Grubs to assist with the pushing. G2 scrambling to defend here in a 3v4. Broken Blade and Hans trying to keep them away, but they just don't have the damage. FlyQuest forces their way into the top lane. They'll take out the tier 3, but they'll leave the inhibitor standing. They're trying to cover for one another as they make their retreat, make sure nobody gets caught, nobody gets left behind. FlyQuest take tier 3 and exfiltrate. Does continue to bleed after that. Remember the side effect of the Death's Dance. Whippo Trying to look for an angle here. Charges in after Lebrov. The Alistar is going to be the target. Whippo's here in the front line, but now it's Inspired into the back line. Hansama with a flash away. Inspired looking to put the pressure on. Throws up the shield. Staying alive for now. Still has Guardian Angel. Doesn't have to spend it. Caps makes his way into the fight with the use of the teleport. G2 fighting back. Skewmon looking for the back line of FlyQuest. Whippo's here in the front, but he's tanking a lot of damage. Skewmon putting the pressure on, but the firepower from FlyQuest is massive. Skewmon barely staying alive. The curtain call is open, but the show does not go on. FlyQuest continuing to retreat. Broken Blade wants the Q2, but he won't hit the sweet spot.
A possible G2 soul, but they're going to move for Baron.
Baron, yeah, like Quad hasn't had a chance to reset. He doesn't have his TP available either. The fact that G2's forcing it, they know that they can do this super fast thanks to the Cassio.
Okay, Broken Blade has made his TP in. Whippo's already charging forward here with the ulti. The Baron down to about half HP. FlyQuest coming around. Remember, Inspired still has the Guardian Angel. Whippo here in the front. Nice punt away coming out from Lebrov. G2 still going in, looking to take the Baron. It's secured by Skewmon. G2's going to try to fight their way out now as Skewmon is locked up in their own prison. And FlyQuest bursts him down. Lebrov has the unbreakable will, but FlyQuest will break him anyway.
I feel like FlyQuest don't have to hesitate.
Nope, they won't. As soon as you say it, Betty, Caps is already under the pressure from Inspired. Another Grand Starfall makes its entry. Another death for the Cassiopeia. FlyQuest will claim the mid lane inhibitor as Hans opens up the curtain call. He'll try to clear the wave a little bit with it, but Inspired doesn't care. FlyQuest in a 5v2. Hans and Broken Blade, nowhere to go. FlyQuest now onto the Nexus itself as Hans is forced back into the fountain, and FlyQuest take game one. Garen, the execute, obviously, based its true damage based off of your missing HP. When K'Sante goes all out, he has to be missing HP. It's very easy to find the execute and shut K'Sante down.
On the lane, though, of course, they do have that ranged advantage. But you're right in saying that there's a lot of expectations on both these top laners' shoulders. It was Whippo that came out the gate swinging in game one. The health bar's getting lower and lower. Oh, keeping your eyes on Inspired here. Look, he's setting up for an invade. He's trying to steal away that Gromp.
Oh, very early.
Get it.
Nicely done from Inspired, but now in the bottom lane, Boostier's about to die! First blood over to G2! Nicely done, as Masu wants to try to get something back, but the only thing he's gonna get is a trip to the graveyard! Double kill Hansama, 2 minutes and 20 seconds in. Whippo, who has to turn around and run. Yes, you are a Garen. Yes, you're up in levels, but you're in a 1v2. Now Quad in some danger as Caps gets a solo kill. G2 have defeated Warfare 5 minutes into the game.
Like, this is absolutely crazy from the G2 members. Like, we have not seen this type of performance from them for a while. Whippo level 6, the cavalry's coming in.
Yeah, Whippo still ready to try to turn this one around. Lebrov gets silenced, but he's not worried about it. Full health still on Hans and Lebrov both, as Skewmon is chased out of the Dragon Pit by Inspired. So FlyQuest, despite hemorrhaging these early kills, will at least take the first objective. G2 shook hands on it, said, fine, we'll take the first Drake. Now that those are not up at the same time, the Grubs have just now spawned. FlyQuest are starting the objective, but you can see G2 hanging around. There's nothing else to look at in the other side of the river, so G2 are going to look at this instead. Busio gets crashed down on by Lebrov, but Masu misses the center route. Hansama is here, level 6 on the Corki. The rocket poke can be very, very devastating. Han's going to try to steal one of those Grubs away there with a Phos Bomb, but it doesn't hit with the timing. Now that last Grub, the target here for FlyQuest. Whippo's coming up around the side. FlyQuest looking to go in as Quad finds the engage. Follow up there with a Cyclone, and Hans is already down. Nice damage coming in from the Wukong, but now Caps is between worlds. Lebrov is low. Caps has to go back over the wall, and Broken Blade has found his way into the middle of the fight, but Busio is already out. FlyQuest, get a kill, get the Grubs, and get everybody out alive. There's always one off of cooldown, and Broken Blade is making sure he doesn't give Whippo any more ticks on the spin. G2 starting up the second Drake of the game, now immediately turning for the engage onto Inspired. He drops the clone, he tries to get back away, and Skewmon's gonna be killed instead. Masu rotates into the fight, and Quad and Busio are looking at Lebrov. Hansama flying away as Busio and Quad go on a magical journey, and Lebrov gets away to safety underneath the tier 1 turret. Hansama continuing his retreat. G2, they thought they had the trigger pull, but it was a trap trigger, and Inspired ends up baiting him in.
The counterpunch from FlyQuest just seems to hit harder.
A significant amount of a beating. That means that if FlyQuest can secure that, they'll earn the boots there. Whippo starting to use the spin before Broken Blade enters into the scrap there with a Pathmaker, but it's G2 who want to find the kill here onto the Garen. Immediately, Skewmon makes the engage. Whippo is low, flashing away, trying to finding some sort of an outplay, but immediately Broken Blade goes all out. Skewmon, though, trying to get himself away as Busio wants to get one back, but the kill credit over to Caps is right where G2 wants the money.
Strong play there from G2 up on the top side to get it and get out. They, as you say, it does cost them one flash. Now Busio in the middle.
Nice play coming out from LeBron, and immediately Broken Blade looking to slam Busio back into the ball, but Busio with a two-man stun, ready to set it up as Caps goes between worlds. Busio gets away underneath the turret. The tempered fade is perfect. Inspired, needing one more hit on LeBron. He'll get the kill. Busio stays alive. Inspired about to die to Hans Sama. There's dead bodies on both sides as Quad keeps chasing Hans, but it won't matter. There's no more opportunity here for a kill, and Caps gets to recall at the same time.
And again, a Senna ultimate over the top. That Senna ultimate was just enough, and Caps tries to follow him under the tower here with the double ultimate, and then right after he comes out, Caps goes for the Q and flashes, but on the bottom side, you do have to point out.
Prepared coming into this tournament with the idea of giving you a little bit more value around the poke. I personally still prefer the Trinity Force. I just think it spikes harder in the mid game, and we'll see if it comes to fruition now as the root comes through.
Yeah, LeBron getting bound up. Chain CC, he can't press a button. FlyQuest immediately find a pick on the main engage tool from G2, and with him out of the picture, the Dragon just spawned. FlyQuest, they'll be at sole point if they get this.
Exactly. G2 lost their primary engage, which means that they're not in a position to contest this. Their best option is now to try and cross-map, attacking that top tier 1. But again, we find FlyQuest in this mid-game just finding advantage after advantage. And G2 making these mistakes where they're just out of position, and FlyQuest doing a really good job of finding them and finding advantages off the back of them.
The lead.
Busio hovering here too. Watch out for the Bard ultimate.
Inspired, gonna find Skewmon there as he clones back over the wall, but now Quad could be in danger. Immediately drops the combo onto G2, but instead it's the full engage. Tempered Fate looking to stuff that engage now as Hans Summon's under pressure, but Inspired has to try to get away. The Senna ulti over the top, as now the turret is destroyed into the bottom lane at the same time. G2, they get the shutdown back on the Quad's Annie. It's one kill so far, one kill for G2, nothing for FlyQuest.
G2 get their play, they get out. Whippo, of course, after the teleport up to answer, does at least go for that trade, gets his turret.
You can see the first-hand experience of playing against Canyon.
Let's see how that Senna factor does come into play, because looks like he is going for the Black Cleaver build. Does have Wukong as well as the Garen on his team, so going to try and shred for the squad.
You have no idea that this is going on right now. They have a suspicion.
Broken Blade's smelling something funny up here in the topside river, as G2 are going to show up, and they show up with enough men in enough time that FlyQuest does not feel confident finishing the objective. At the same time, G2 did grab that turret down there in the bottom lane, ties it up at 2-2 in that count. Busio with a nice two-man binding there. Make sure he can get himself away as LeBron and Skewmon prowling around the enemy jungle, seeing if there's anything they can steal away. For the mid laner, an AD carry in Caps and Hans on G2. Who can carry the next fight harder is the question that'll answer whether or not FlyQuest can take this soul. G2 moving up with a full 5-man roster to try to stop it, as Whippo immediately tries to engage on the Caps and Hans, but Whippo is going to be isolated. Immediately the Senna ulti trying to reinforce FlyQuest top laner, but he's going to be taken out before anything else happens. FlyQuest in some trouble. Broken Blade here with the front line, goes all out and he manages to stay alive. He's going to kill Quad. Broken Blade popping off. G2 slamming the fight. The target selection was better, and G2 hold on.
Whippo immediately turns his attention onto the backline. He says, if I can stop you from following up, then that means that the Cassante's just going to die. But that is not what happened. Broken Blade was able to survive for a huge amount of time.
Massive jump in power here for G2 as well. FlyQuest is on the approach, but the Otacon is already low. Lebrov goes in for the engage on Busio, but he gets away on a magical journey. Broken Blade here to front line now, as Whippo's already spinning on top of him. The Garen damage is big, but Broken Blade still getting himself away. The Otacon is claimed by G2. Broken Blade still the target, likely to be the sacrificial lamb. Continues running, trying to waste as much time as possible here on the FlyQuest side. Broken Blade still clearing the distance. Inspired can catch up, finds the last hit there for the shutdown. Whippo and Quad are way too far forward. Quad's already going to be killed as Busio finds a big tempered fate, but Whippo's going to die now too. Skewmon heals with the triumph, but he does not die. FlyQuest solo laners go in alone. Masu and Inspired now ready to try to follow up, but Hans Sama's already able to make the distance. Labrov with a crash down over the wall, but Inspired ready to follow. It's 2 dead on either side.
Soul stacking and getting the Otacon. Whippo is at it again, though.
Yeah, Whippo wants to go in after Hans. Tempered Fate finds the Corki, but nobody else. FlyQuest going in. Inspired ready here with a Cyclone. Hans Sama's already down. Masu trying to get away from Labrov. Looks for a little bit more damage. If they can kill the Rel too, that's going to be huge. Whippo goes in for the Stride Breaker. A little bit more damage is there, and Masu's already got the kill. Now Broken Blade about to die here too. It's 3-0 for FlyQuest.
They make the quicker play. They just started out with Whippo chasing down the Corki. They take him out, chase through a tower of their own, and now Vedius, they're moving towards the Baron.
Excellent target selection from FlyQuest means that they flip the game on its head. The Dragon is in a minute's time, and with the Baron secured, FlyQuest is going to take full control over Game 2.
North America versus Europe, back and forth here, Vedius. Big objectives traded. G2 will still have this power of the Otacon, getting extra flower for every kill they get and the on-death effect, but now FlyQuest with that last play for FlyQuest, even if he went for a miracle steal.
Absolutely beautiful Tempered Fate from Busio's Bard to save Masu from what would have been a phenomenal engage on the side of G2. The MasterCard priceless moment of the game, the Dragon Soul for FlyQuest now, but could there be a counterpunch? Quad's in danger, the engage from G2 this time onto the FlyQuest mid. He's gonna die immediately. Whippo and Inspired looking to turn things around, maybe onto Skumon, a little bit more damage is needed, and Whippo's already got the kill there with Demacia and Justice. Now Broken Blade, still here on the front. Labrov takes another hit over the head from Wukong. Masu has joined the fight. Broken Blade's gotta make some distance, but another Tempered Fate locks up G2. Hans Sama hit with a binding, but they can't follow it up with enough damage. Masu's got a lot of range on Senna now, and Broken Blade is low. Masu getting himself away as Inspired drops the clone to drop the aggro. Now Whippo still spinning around, but it's only minions under fire. FlyQuest dancing with the line here between greatness and disaster. G2 low on health, backing up. FlyQuest still with the Baron. Caps with the Aurora Burst. Catches Masu unaware, and that will silence this push.
I was here.
Yep.
And since they got the feats, they also have the upgraded boots.
But we're already into a fight. Inspired finds the engage into Caps and Labrov. Caps gets himself away. Inspired takes a massive chunk, but Labrov is the one whose body hits the floor. FlyQuest with another 5v4 situation now, going for the push in mid lane. This tier 2 turret should fall. That'll be FlyQuest claiming their 4th turret of the game. The gold, gentlemen, is still not even 2,000 as Hans defends the tier 2, and Broken Blade takes one in the bottom lane at the same time.
FlyQuest continues to punish them. Inspired is active on the map, and Quad.
Yeah, Quad's in danger. Stun onto both of them, though, as Quad tries to get away, but Broken Blade is going all out. He's in some danger himself. Busio trying to lock him up. Broken Blade is all out, but FlyQuest bring more men. Inspired, dominating on the Wukong. An impressive performance in back-to-back games, 9, 2, and 4. Now, Whippo is Garen, level 16. The passive is at maximum value. Inspired goes in for the knock-up onto Caps. Forces him to use the ulti defensively to jump away. The Elder Dragon is in 30 seconds. If either side gets a big win here, they can go for that, and you know 13-13. Yeah, it's a 2,500 gold lead for FlyQuest, but that's not a lot. The Cloud Soul, obviously, being a much bigger difference maker. Silence onto Broken Blade from Whippo, but now G2 ready to step in. Caps goes between worlds, and Masu's already almost dead. Down to 200 HP. Quad's already eliminated, but now Caps is also dead. Masu continuing to fire. Surviving by 100 was enough, and Labrov is about to die next. FlyQuest turn it around. G2, they try to pick Masu. They fall ever so short, but it is just enough for FlyQuest.
The front line for FlyQuest does so much there. The double spinning to winning is able to cut through them, and Masu actually survived the entire thing, kiting back, and with the sustain, and with the peel, FlyQuest triumph!
FlyQuest keeping their 80 carry alive by just 100 HP. He then heals himself up with his own Qs. It makes a massive difference. And FlyQuest now, with G2 dead for long enough, they can take the Baron, they can walk over the Elder. FlyQuest with a big win in the team fight.
Inspired and Whippo. You said it earlier, Flowers. It was a tale of two halves, with the top side of FlyQuest being the point of strength.
Caps, that's the first time he died in this entire game, but so many times in League of Legends, when you're the guy who's got the weight of the whole game on your back. Masu, so much power on this Senna, 137 souls. FlyQuest on the push towards inhibitor turrets in two separate lanes.
Baron buff on the minions with the Elder Dragon on themselves, so threatening.
And they immediately decide to go in for the engage. G2 under pressure, Dawning Shadow, gonna guarantee the first kill. Scumon's already down and Inspired is legendary. Broken Blade goes all out as Whippo's gonna be in some danger. The shutdown credit goes over to Labrov. Inspired is far forward. He's likely to burn down here, but he's already got the Guardian Angel. Broken Blade continuing to kite out, but it's not enough. FlyQuest lose their top laner, but they'll take Broken Blade and Scumond in trade. Fly, they still have the Baron. They still have the Elder. They still have themselves set up in the enemy base. Inspired, low on HP, stealing away some camps to try to heal back up, while the rest of FlyQuest continues pushing Nexus turrets. Masu has so much range, G2 can't get anywhere near it. The Nexus already under fire. Quad with the engage, the Elder with the execute, and FlyQuest on the game-winning push for match point. All right, Caps on the carry in the mid lane. This is the guy to look at to see if he can keep G2's hopes alive.
Kind of interesting here because, like I was talking about, like Inspired is covering this route, so they've been trying to trap this.
Oh, but Scumond caught out there by the Tangle Barbs from Busio. Inspired waiting over the wall. One more hit from the club, and it's first blood to Inspire.
And
oh boy,
they're going for the maiden first.
Okay. Whippo's maiden at 500 HP. Whippo trying to keep this wave from crashing into the turret. Drops the cage, but Whippo's down to 300 HP. Ardent Blaze does hit him. Scumond taking damage there from the turret. Whippo kills him! Scumond gives a free one over, and Whippo buries him there with a shovel. Now up in the top side. It's one traded back, but they still get the dive. Feat of Warfare claimed by FlyQuest, as Busio does drop to Broken Blade at least.
Wave clear, and this gives complete access to the grubs. FlyQuest, throughout this series, have controlled this objective, and it looks like G2's not in a position to challenge it once again.
And I just feel like Busio has been so good for this team. The bottom lane together, of course, you know Masu as well. But Busio, there's been so much talk about his improvements, over the years, and he has just been so good in North America and showing it with the map control. A lot of these vision plays, constantly being in the right place at the right time to face Broken Blade, and the Feast was ready, and then choosing his moments, in the 3v1 and after the Feast cooldown has been used. And with this early lead, FlyQuest will come and claim what is rightfully theirs. They have pre-existing vision, waves in very good spaces in both mid lane and top lane here, so they rotate over, they collect their objective. It does feel very methodical and calm.
Broken Blade is low on HP. Whippo will walk into the river now. Scumond waiting. Whippo doesn't walk any closer.
Yeah, he's got his flash, so he's kind of staying on range there. They might have seen one of those little dogs as he walks away from the brush.
Okay, that's first turret claimed for FlyQuest. We crest the 14-minute point, and we can see that G2 claimed no turret plates.
The minion wave in mid lane, that gives you some artificial vision. Then you have the full wards on jungle, and they actually have a couple of options to themselves. Whippo here trading again, and Scumond actually visits, but Inspired is here covering.
Yeah, Broken Blade goes for the rupture, does not hit it. Whippo getting away, but he's already feasted on Broken Blade. Nice kill on Whippo.
All right, the Feast also effective on the York himself, not just the Maiden. Jumps him down, which is the most mobile members. And so FlyQuest will still start up and take the objective.
I think that really caught Whippo off guard. He did have his flash available, and I think that he thought that I've probably got one more auto attack in me before I die.
Big Feast.
Definitely caught me off guard, that's for sure. Shockwave used onto Broken Blades.
Yeah, just onto the Cho'Gath. He gets a chunk, but that's a big team fight ultimate that FlyQuest doesn't have.
FlyQuest with a Trundle ultimate could try and go straight through front line.
Okay, the Dragon's already down to 2,000. Inspired gets the shield. Lebrov tries to go in. The Drake is already slain by Skewmon as Lebrov tries to get away, but there's the Pillar of Filth. The Hex Gates activate, but that's not going to matter. Lebrov tries to escape, but Masu puts the last shot in his back as that's a 4th kill of the game for FlyQuest. G2 take the objective, but lose their support.
And you could see the idea from the beginning there from Inspired. Since the Dragon's getting low, he walks forward like he's going to go steal it to try and bait out that hook into the wall, and then he saves his pillar for the exit. So FlyQuest, even though they lose that Dragon, wait a second.
Quad's in danger, Broken Blade. He has his feast ready. The Rupture silences him up, beats him down, and eats him up. Nice shutdown for Broken Blade. 3-1-0 here in the Cho'Gath.
So, Broken Blade is continuing to get bigger, but Caps being isolated in this Yorick matchup is not really where you want this Akali to be. Ooh,
Lucio in trouble. Pop Blossom as he's about to die. Pillar to make a little bit of extra distance, but Skewmon's already got the first kill. Now Masu's the next target. Whippo and Inspired trying to protect their AD carry as G2 comes to life. A 5-man play around the bottom lane tier 1 turret. They might look to go for the dive. Caps coming around from the side. Masu knows he has to try to walk this one out the long way. Lebrov and Caps isolated. Lebrov trapped inside the Yorick cage. Lebrov dies. Teleport coming in for FlyQuest, and now it'll be a 4v4 with the odds even. G2 heads home.
Caps, it is also hard for Skewmon to get in there because the Trundle with these low range, wait a second, they're actually walking on over now towards this.
It's already gone. The Otacon taken in the darkness before G2 can respond to it. 17 flowers up to 31 after the Otacon harvest them all versus the 6 of G2. Of G2, immediately the turret dive would follow if Broken Blade stayed around. Skewmon passing through, but his blue buff has already been stolen by FlyQuest.
I mean, Inspired is just running the game. He can literally do no wrong. He's playing around his pressure beautifully. The vision control they have means that G2...
Because Akali, without the ultimate, where is the threat, Vedius? To crack this FlyQuest comp. I think that was a very intelligent play.
Broken Blade is pretty much all G2 have right now.
Okay, the feasts have been good.
Ooh, no
hey,
flash.
Broken Blade with a knockup. Now G2's going in. They found Whippo. Yeah. This could be the fight they need right there. Caps gets the kill, and Whippo, wrong place, wrong time. That's the opportunity for G2.
Look at the minimap, though. I think FlyQuest are making the right choice. Immediately push towards the mid lane. Set your sights on that tower. Just get more map control. G2 are desperate right now to get a foothold back into this game, and FlyQuest have a lot of options to play with.
1,000 gold lead with about twice that much value in adaptive force through those flowers that they've got from the Otacon.
Yeah, I mean, that foothold was right there at that tri-brush, though.
Both right there, but it just slightly misses.
That Masu lead that you're talking about can be very meaningful, too. As he goes for the AP upgrade, that poke is going to be a big advantage for FlyQuest in the standoffs, trying to get the early advantage before the engage comes out.
I like the way FlyQuest are playing on 2 lanes right now. That mid tower is not really defendable. Even G2 haven't conceded any major advantages since the last fight, but as the observers are highlighting for us right now, it is darkness around the Dragon. FlyQuest are going to be able to get the push on mid thanks to Whippo.
And that Cho'Gath is very tanky. Full 3 items for Broken Blade here, whereas Whippo is still on 2 and pieces.
This next fight, man, I feel like it could very easily go either way. Caps is still top side. He's got his teleport if he needs it. He wants to go after the tier 1 turret to get the gold a little bit closer. He will find his target. Inspired steps forward, but a quick burst of damage coming out from Han Sama. Now Lebrov's got to be careful. He finds a dredge line, but he immediately has to flash back out. Lebrov is already down. Quad grabbing the kill on that one. Caps makes his way in with a TP. Can he find the flank? Broken Blade flashing away, barely staying alive. Masu jumping in, needs a little bit more damage. Masu's already got the kill. G2 are going to get wiped off Summoner's Rift. FlyQuest find the moment instantly.
FlyQuest will steamroll G2 as they march towards the Nexus.
It's only Caps left standing. He jumps in, but it will not matter. The last golden statue is buried. The latest chapter of the rivalry is written as an epitaph for Europe, and FlyQuest eliminates G2 from MSI.
This is exactly how AL want to play, right? They'll be super, super comfortable with this draft. It allows Tarzan specifically to join up for side lane plays. It allows a ton of follow-up.
Here, when it comes to the health bar, Shanks won't have his ultimate, but does Chovy having his ultimate matter if he doesn't have the health to walk over? We see Gen.G still looking for a contest. I think want to desperately try and get at least a grub.
They've done a good job of keeping Hope gated from coming in through that top side of the river. Chovy being forced away again in that mid lane. Gen.G are the first on the grubs, but AL have secured one. TP coming in. Tarzan looking for this. Can't land as Canyon gets a smite. TP from Kin. Call to the forward. Duro with a double knock up. And onto the back line. Kyle is already knocked up and taken out. First blood to Gen.G. The dive in from Tarzan, but now he's in the middle of the enemy team. Tarzan falls second. Chovy goes between worlds. And AL is sent to the afterlife. Hope able to kill Canyon off, but Hope should go down. Flandre with a flame spitter will be able to get one of his own. Keen can't get in range and doesn't have the mana to kill off Hope or Shanks. Ruler's going to be able to walk away. Keen comes in. The curtain's open, but Shanks is just outside the window, unable to be connected there. Flandre takes the fine couple of shots. Kale coming across as well. Shanks has enough mana for another disintegrate. The electrocute procs, and Keen will fall in the end. A 3-for-3 exchange.
When all is said and done, it's a relatively even trade. Even the grubs are 1-1.
Yeah, I was gonna say no one actually has cleared out that final grub. But that was a really, really messy fight, and Tarzan might be in trouble.
He's going to try and walk away from this one. Canyon comes in with a wind becomes a lightning, but doesn't follow it up with an audacious charge. And now they turn it back onto Duro because Hope is here, and he rings eternal. Tarzan heals up through the triumph, and Canyon's down as well. AL will get the cherry on top of this cake with a grub to boot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, meanwhile, Flandre is just cleaning up that last grub for AL. These are the combinations I love seeing out of this team. #1 versus #1, as we see AL are going to end up getting the first rotation on this Drake, thanks to being able to push in that mid wave.
Yeah, not going to be any contest from Gen.G. They'll be able to get a plate for their troubles.
Someone's looking for him. Chovy stays around, doesn't finish the recall. Can use the weirding to get out of vision for a second. Jumps forward between worlds as well. With the TP coming in, AL might call off the dive, but they decide against it. Chovy able to get out there. And now Keen's on the chase. Tarzan has to flash. He should be able to escape.
Yeah, nice response. Pulling the TP from Keen, able to get Tarzan's flash out of there.
Fighting! With the knockback. Unbreakable Will so powerful at this moment of the game. The equalizer not really going to hit onto too much. TP coming in from Chovy as well as Canyon is trading with Flandre. The curtain's open and Hope goes in with a killer instinct. Ruler flashes away, but now Keen's here to save his AD carry. He can't do that! Kyle up towards the top side with the Grand Cypher coming in. He's going to fall first. Flandre getting chased down by Canyon as well, but he'll get the kill with a flame splitter. Now Tarzan's on the face of Chovy and will continue to chase him down. Duro burnt to a crisp. It's well done states for AL as they win out the fight.
It's mayhem on the rift and AL come out on top.
Team fight targeting, as well as Hope just kind of going really, really deep in the back line, chasing after Ruler.
Because the moment I saw that Jin setup, I thought that Gen.G actually had the angle.
And that does allow, again, Flandre to get some key one-on-one time with this top lane tier 1 turret, which he will take down for anyone's legend. And additionally, they're dropping this Herald in mid, so they're going to polish up that mid tier 1 as well. Really nice map play from AL in response to this Drake taken.
Still going.
Yeah, they're looking for the tier 2 as well, with the TP coming in from Flandre. Maybe they thought they could fight the Drake, thinking Gen.G were a little bit slower on that neutral objective than they were. AL will get the feat of strength, though.
These skirmishes, they're not really hitting the mark.
And again, this is going to give Shanks time on this bot tier 1. He should be able to take this down as long as he can thin out the wave enough, and there we go. So some really nice map pressure coming out of AL. This composition is kind of designed for it, right? They really want to get ahead, especially before those Ornn items coming in.
Still pushing inside, obviously has the TP available. We'll see if AL is going to fall from the bait. Gen.G, I think, looking for the 5v5.
Yeah, Duro going in, TP coming out immediately from AL as they want to try and trade it back. Hope the first target here. The knockup coming out from Keen as well, but the equalizer now to the back line, and they haven't killed off Hope or Shanks. Keen forced down to about 2/3 HP as Hope dives forward, and Keen will die first. AL once again turn around the fight.
The ult!
And Starfall immediately stun onto Chovy, who jumps backwards between worlds. Kyle going in with the Magnet Storm, surviving for oh so long. The chase continues as Hope has found a perfect flank onto Ruler. Ruler down, Duro to follow. Chovy flashes to safety, but the rest of Gen.G do not have that luxury. Canyon has to dash away to the minion wave, and AL will turn their eyes to Atakan.
Hope getting revenge on one of the 80 carries he was replaced by, right? I want to talk about Hope for a little bit as we see anyone's legend on this Otacon, because it's not that he's been bad, right? It's that his teams have always been like, okay, but we found someone better in Viper. We found someone better.
That clean that worries me somewhat. Flandre does have the TP available. Gen.G, they're down about 4.5k gold. The 2-item spikes have been hit, but AL ready to contest this.
Flandre on his way has the equalizer, also has the Seekers if he wants to get a little bit aggressive. Keen on that front line. Tarzan jumping onto Ruler. There's the equalizer follow-up. Duro with a good knock-up, but Hope cannot be stifled. Ruler down. Between worlds goes Chovy, but they just don't have the damage. Canyon's on top of Hope, but he supercharges his way to safety. And Chovy once again is running for the hills. AL wipe away Gen.G.
They take down Gen.G. They get the Drake.
Keen gets out as well.
Hope is absolutely stellar in these fights. They're going to be able to clean up
There's a
Chovy
cancel
on the backside of this.
So Keen barely gets out. Chovy uses his TP, still doesn't make it. They pick fights and what they do when they're behind in the game, but in this game, I'm not seeing it so far. We're going to have to see some absolutely immaculate team fighting from them, but it's not like, even taking into account some of the scaling right now, Ruler also sitting on an upgraded Ghostblade, is in their favor, because the damage from AL never really is going to fall off. The lack of front line maybe becomes a problem down the line, but right now they're down. 7.5k gold and Tarzan is looking.
Equalizer coming out. Tarzan looking for the flank onto Ruler. Kyle there for the follow-up. The Magnus Storm comes out. They just have so many tools in their toolbox. AL can miss everything and still kill off Gen.G. Chovy and Canyon trying to get back to the safety of their base, but Tarzan's having none of it. He'll pull Chovy back. The chase continues. The spear is ulting into the base. Kyle dashing forward as well as AL have used Tibbers to tank up that mid lane inhibitor tower, and Chovy falls where he should be safe. AL now on the inhibitors.
Gen.G have not been able to protect Ruler in these fights, especially against this composition. Once it got rolling, all eyes are on Ruler. One member of AL is diving, and he is out.
This is domination. It's a shellacking. Gen.G 20 series undefeated, and AL come out in game one and have shown them what they're about. Gen.G can't defend, and the LPL shines strong. 1-0 in this best of 5.
This time, it is going to be a lot more reliant on the Poppy and the TF, who I think are a bit more telegraphed. Last time, they had so many ways to start the fights, and I think it's really what overwhelmed Gen.G. And Canyon's going to use that to get himself some chickens here. Just farming up a storm as if it was there to go!
The paranoia coming out from Canyon. Destiny, the fear procs just in time to stop the escape from Shanks.
And that's exactly what I was looking for from Canyon's first ult, right? We knew he was going to take over with the level 6. The 2v2 is still fighting up here, but I don't think anything's going to come.
What's happening? Keen is just going to be able to push in towards that wave. I don't think the grubs are going to go the way of Gen.G, which with a composition like this, I think is a big deal. AL also have a lot of split pushing power. We'll see how much Gen.G is able to get. If they can get Keen even further ahead while also picking up a dragon, they might not feel too bad about it, but particularly with TF and Jax, and denying it from Gwen and Azir, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and we do see the TPs coming out towards that bot lane, but Gen.G are going to be able to clean up this Drake. It doesn't look like AL are going to be able to do anything about it, right? So this is more of the classic Gen.G that we're used to seeing, right?
Actually getting on top of Gen.G.
As we see, not a super pushing Blades game. However, Gen.G were easily able to get the vision in first rotation onto this Drake, although AL are looking to contest.
Keeper's Verdict comes out, Keen dodges it. Ruler doesn't do the same. Flandre now looking for a flank of his own as Canyon is going to be healed up, but he gets the double counter-strike stun into the Glacial Fissure, and I think Duro is just done for. Flandre will pick up AL's first kill of the game.
And Braum are some of the best zone control that you can get. The threat of a counter-strike is always there, and Banana Brush control is there for Kyle. Teleport comes in.
Kyle's going to get hooked, but puts up the Unbreakable immediately. Glacial Fissure going down, only hits onto Duro. Keeper's Verdict being channeled by Tarzan. He doesn't finish it. There's the paranoia. Chovy looking for the flank position, but he's stunned off first. Canyon falling low, the jump back in with a counter-strike from Flandre. Chovy and Keen, though, on the backline with the Emperor's Divide. Chovy's going to fall Flandre. The Dawning Shadow, he jumps away from it. Keen trying to snip through Shanks, but Shanks flashes the wall. And in the end, a 1-for-1 exchange.
1-for-1, and Hope had hopped into that Herald just to immediately drive it into mid. you see the entirety of the pit and the back of the pit.
It's important.
Big here for Keen, taking that first tower will put Gen.G either a kill or a neutral objective away from claiming the feats of strength.
But the big thing is the damage that Gen.G have been able to get onto these side lane turrets, right? Chovy able to get damage on that top tier one. He should be able to take that down. Ruler getting the RFC right before this potential Drake contest.
Chovy has his TP. We see Shanks running from base, didn't have it off the Unshield spellbook. Keeper's verdict, Tarzan stops the channel on it. There's the Destiny pop to give vision. Keen's going to jump into the pit. The hook lands, Unbreakable going down as well. Depth Charge used onto Hope. Keen trading down towards the bottom side as we see so much damage happening in the pit. Keen's going to get the kill. The Dawning Shadow with the Emperor's Divide in from Chovy, and now it's all on Shanks and Hope to try and survive, but Gen.G are having none of it. They try and chase them out. The Drake almost killing Chovy. Hope dashes back in, straight into a dredge line, and he gets 2 for it. Shanks looking for a little bit more. Everyone's so low. Has that gold card locked in. Ruler is able to get a bit of range advantage here as Shanks now needs to run away. Has no cards left to pick. Chovy dashes in, and it's the ace for Gen.G.
And although Hope almost turns it around with a 2-item spike, it's the team fighting from Gen.G. This time working out nicely. The turn onto Flandre, beautifully done there.
With 69 stacks, it's a nice number for 22 minutes into the game.
Sorry, I can't help but laugh at that. I'm 5. Another thing I did want to point out, as Gen.G are starting up this Otacon, is their attention to side waves, right? They've had their side wave pushed out pretty consistently.
Verdict, double TP coming out. Last Embrace going to hit onto the Poppy. Duro knocked up, but I believe he buffered a hook out of that or something. Keen looking for the flank position. AL take control of the Otacon. Ruler low. Shanks has a gold card locked in, but Keen uses the Hallowed Mist to dodge away from it. Counter-Strike coming in as well as Tarzan is knocked up and snipped down by Keen. Canyon falling low. He doesn't get the smite off in time. Absolutely anyone's Legends will claim the Otacon. No, it's Chovy actually that takes it in the end. As AL now on the retreat, the hook just short. As AL managed to get out, but Gen.G win the fight.
It was a team effort. Literally everyone showed up on that Otacon feed.
He now is actually working his way down towards the mid lane, which really implies it wouldn't be up in time. Heal used by anyone's Legends just to get a little bit of extra health underneath this tower. The tower, the target for Gen.G, and they will secure it. Put down the Sun Disc as well.
Yeah, the sieging power of this Gen.G comp is obviously disgusting.
Canyon is there as well. Flandre is going to catch the bot wave, uses the Counter-Strike. There's the Destiny as well for a little bit more vision. Keeper's verdict comes down. No one is found guilty, and the hook connects immediately. Tarzan has to flash away, and Gen.G haven't lost any health yet. They continue to push forward onto Kyle. Canyon going in with the Paranoia as well. Flandre looking for the Counter-Strike, but all of Gen.G scatter, and he finds no one. He'll go to an early grave as Gen.G turn their eyes towards the Soul.
And again, you see just how difficult it is, even when AL are trying to set up. If Gen.G are parked in a spot, it's so hard for them to come in, even with the TF ult coming through for vision, right?
Hextech Soul is there.
That top side has the Emperor's Divide, the only ultimate available for Gen.G.
Keen has his.
7,000 on the Baron. Canyon trying to get in here, doesn't have Smite. Canyon doesn't have Smite and can't secure it, but Gen.G will look for the fight afterwards. Hope might just have to jump out of the back of the pit as the Baron has been taken by anyone's Legend, and Hope just about escapes with his life, then has to flash, but Keen's on the chase. Hope with a good arcane shift over towards the
Hextech Soul!
The Hextech Soul for the slow is enough. Keen gets the kill.
Tarzan's
taking
He's the only one with the Baron buff left. But again, you're going to see immediately they're going to start pushing on the top side. Keen was able to take out that tier 2 in.
Pick up a little bit, but even if that Baron, as it did, went the way of AL, the fact that not only do they give up a bunch of kills, but give up the Hextech Soul, it's just so hard to imagine that they're going to be able to get any value out of it, as Flandre does have reinforcements on the way, and it looks like Gen.G not really wanting to veer too deep into enemy territory.
Yeah, not sure where Tarzan is, not sure where Kyle is. Now they'll go deep and get some vision.
The collapse.
Duro's looking for the flank. Tarzan rooted with the last embrace. Chovy's here as well. Keen's on his way towards the back of the fight. Keeper's verdict coming out will knock away Keen, and perhaps anyone's Legend will think this is a fight they can take. They can't.
Canyon.
Right now with the Paranoia coming out. Shanks getting chased down. Kyle down to half HP. Tarzan the same. The Hextech Soul doing so much work as Keen comes in and snips them to pieces. Chovy flashing forward. Flandre with the Counter-Strike once again. Just can't land the stun. Gen.G wipe away anyone's legend.
And a clean ace for Gen.G. Heralds the end of the second game. Objectives going their way, the pace pulled back. AL not able to draw them into the chaos the way they did in that game number 1.
Ruler flashing the Gen.G emote as he sieges in onto the inhibitor and the Nexus.
Gen.G show that there's a reason in series they haven't lost in 20 of them.
With this style of composition, right, the amount of backline threat that's there, kind of crazy. But the same can be said for AL. Possible dive being set up here. We'll see if Canyon actually is going to commit. Definitely wants his scuttle first.
Yeah, he'll want that first, but Keen is doing quite well.
Always a little bit risky to dive a Scion though, especially when he has a cookie. Even if you pull off the dive effectively, the zombie form comes out. It does look like Canyon's on his way across here. There's a ward that's going to spot him.
No.
Flandre down to 150 HP, pops the cookie early. Canyon hit with a decimating smash. No one tanking the tower now, but there's only one minion left. Oh, good flash from Flandre, but Canyon follows it perfectly. The zombie form will chase him. Canyon has to flash to escape.
That is 2 flashes for a flash, or rather 1 flash. Keen didn't actually end up having to for a flash and a kill. You still take that. And with the level 6 of Shanks, Hextech Alternator, the cookie in his inventory could have locked for some damage as Tarzan.
Still has the flash here. Canyon going in. There's the Weaver's Wall as well. Good stun onto Chovy. Hope comes in for a bit of damage. The seismic shove not connecting there. Shanks now looking for the flank. A good piercing arrow from Hope will take Duro down alongside Chovy, and in the end, Gen.G don't find the fight.
I see some question markings. What's Crab doing there?
He went on a magical journey, man. Oh, good stun with the Cosmic Binding. Canyon now the target. Hits 6, though. Has the cease and desist. Bolt Breaker stopped by the pillar. Canyon will cease and desist forward, but Shanks is still on the chase. Another Cosmic Binding connects, and Canyon falls. He was too greedy for the Crab.
Into the side lanes, and the Akali ever gets on top of you, you're in trouble. As AL, they are looking again.
Canyon doesn't have flash right now. Duro and Chovy fighting off towards the top side. Tarzan on the Drake should be able to secure this with his smite. And in the end, Gen.G started up the Drake, but anyone's legends very happily will take that gift.
For the trigger pull, right? They are the ones that want to start the fight, blow a target up and go from there. Whereas AL may be looking to stow a Bard. That ultimate is available for Kael and not for Duro.
Canyon goes in, the Vault Breaker doesn't hit the Weaver's Wall from Chovy to try and separate cease and desist. But now Canyon's on the wrong side of the wall from the rest of his team, and Hope just deletes him. Keen in the middle of the public's execution is only going to hit onto Kael, but he flashes forward and he will kill off Hope. Flandre now with the decimating smash. Chovy flashing up towards the top side. Perfect execution from Shanks for the follow-up. The 5-point strike, not enough, but Shanks will still find it. Dodges away from Duro as well. Keen's going to dally in around the blue buff, surviving for now, but should be chased down by Kael and Flandre.
And Gen.G, they need to be synced up, but it's anything but. Canyon goes in, there's no quickness available yet, the damage isn't there. You see Shanks, I think, looking to get that base in, finish his first item, and make his way over as Chovy. Do they have the damage to take this down before the wall goes down?
I think the answer is most decidedly not. Unstoppable Onslaught coming out from Flandre as he looks for the backline. The Drake the target firstly here for Gen.G. Tarzan stepping forward, knocked back, the smite comes out. That is Canyon. Season 6 coming out as well as they look for the backline. Perfect execution. Canyon's gonna fall. Meanwhile, Shanks on the backline looking for a little bit more. He's on Chovy. Can chase forward, dodges the seismic shove, and Flandre takes the kill in the end. Shanks still going in, dodges the battle dance and the grand entrance as well. Keen trying to get in, but Shanks' fancy feet are just sublime. Decimating smash will hit Ruler, but no real follow-up.
Big for Gen.G, but it isn't going to change the fact that right now AL is the ones running the map. We'll see if Gen.G want to fully commit to the contest. And as I say that, Keen is TPing.
Gen.G looking for the battle again. Perfect execution available for Shanks. Public execution available for Keen. He jumps in. It's Kael the target. There's the quickness as well, and Kael is down. Duro will secure the kill. Meanwhile, on the backline, once again, it's Shanks, but they still have the cease and desist. He has to flash away from the Mega Inferno Bomb, and then dashes his way away as well with a perfect execution. The Rift Herald secured for AL. Weaver's Wall coming in from Chovy. Seismic shove does not connect. Flandre on the front line. Unstoppable Onslaught won't be enough. Hope has to flash the wall. Keen's going to flash to follow him. Flandre chasing the rest of Gen.G away. Keen's going to die. Hope goes down as well. In the end, AO do get the Rift Herald, but the fight is anything but clean.
Yeah, they're gonna see this Drake a little bit of a optimistic TP.
TP
That's
sucks.
very
coming
kind.
in from Flandre. there. As we see AL now rotating towards this top side of the map, get a really nice amount of damage on this top side turret, actually able to take all of it. Yep.
That's gone.
Yeah, with the frozen domain as well, it's just so quick. Quickness coming out, though. Double TP immediately invested from Gen.G as Duro looking to dance around this. Keen trying to fight it as well with the pillar going down. Keen continues to chase Chovy with the Weaver's Wall onto Shanks, but the unstoppable onslaught from Flandre will distract Gen.G enough. Canyon has the Mega Blast Cone. Bolt Breaker across would get him in range, but in the end, anyone's legend able to disengage.
Winning the battle. He's actually scrapping.
Got Chovy. Poor guy, man. Keen's going to be able to take the top lane tower. As much as Flandre can defend, he can't stop the push coming out from Keen.
Is there for Tarzan. This could be a big fight if Gen.G is able to get a soul point, and Otacon is right there. And Gen.G need to retake control of River, because AL are set up nicely.
Keen has his teleport. He's going to TP down towards that bot lane tri-bush. The Dragon already down at 5,000 HP, a flank position as well for Ruler, but he's caught out by Shanks and immediately assassinated! Shanks him as Duro now with the quickness can only run and hide. Keen the next target, Duro comes back in and it's a double for Shanks. Anyone's legends collapse immediately.
The Dragon into potentially Otacon. They should just rotate immediately over. What a play from Shanks, and also what a setup from AL. Again, making sure this Akali gets out of the early laning phase, is able to immediately, in this particular fight, hop directly onto Ruler, and this was also the problem we had in game one, right? When AL were able to jump and get that early pick, they
really at all for Gen.G. They're trying to get it through the mid lane, put double control wards down. Chovy now stepping in as well. Seismic Shove not connecting. Keen dashing forward onto Tarzan. Flandre forced down towards the bottom side by Canyon. Tempered Fate only hits onto Duro. Canyon still chasing Flandre out, but he still doesn't take any damage. Good explosive minefield though from Ruler will keep AL from really being able to enter the river again. Canyon down on the Drake, 4,000 on it. Tarzan turning onto Keen, but he has a GA. Unstoppable Onslaught goes between the uprights. Seismic Shove is going to connect. Canyon dashing back in. Keen being kept up towards the top side, but AL are scattered. Flandre down, goes into the zombie form. The quickness coming out as well. Duro chases forward, and Gen.G have delayed for long enough. The Weaver's Wall in from Chovy, the dash away from Shanks. Unraveled Earth will get the stun onto him, and Keen continues to chase. Shanks has to flash away, but AL have already lost 3.
And the hero there is Keen, right? He distracted.
Keen goes in, Hope goes down. Shanks the only one standing from AL.
Just as I was saying, the hero of that fight was Keen. He distracted and took so much damage while Flandre was not able to do the same for AL. AL essentially end up leashing this Drake for Gen.G. Gen.G take it, they take the fight, and now they're going to take Baron.
The poke is always going to be favored for Gen.G because they can sustain a lot more, and with both that Talia as well as the Ziggs, as long as you hold off on actually pulling the trigger.
Power coming out of Ruler's Ziggs as Flandre is in trouble again.
The Weaver's Wall separating him from the rest of AL. Chovy will take the kill. It's really difficult for anyone's legend actually to get on that backline.
Without Shanks on the flank, with Keen threatening to be able to dive on key targets.
And Chovy pushing mid, we saw there as well. Ruler just using his ultimate to gain to clear rather a wave in mid. That mid lane turret still standing. Satchel used. The Shanks should be able to get back to his turret or not.
Assist. Duro's going in with the quickness as well as they look for the chase onto Shanks, who's popped the stopwatch. Knocked back with the seismic shove as well as Shanks just doesn't get an opportunity to move. Gen.G have woken up in this game and AL just cannot answer them. Duro dashing forward, getting onto Hope, knocked back with the satchel charge as well as Keen continues to chase. Flandre in the middle of 5. What can you do? In the face of so much hate, Gen.G will lose 1. They'll clean up the fight and they'll look towards the Nexus.
Duro in his first international popping off on that Rakan, able to follow up on every engage. And Gen.G with this Red Bull Baron power play, it's not even going to time out, it looks like.
Nope.
No one's alive on AL. Gen.G about to get to match point.
They just rip control of the game away from anyone's legend, and they are 1 game away from their 21st series in a row.
Yeah, I mean, we're full like circle gaming kind of from AL, right? Like as soon as they're able to get down AoE, this ends up being a disastrous comp and very early control of this Drake. So Gen.G will be picking that up very, very early on in this game. Start that Drake stacking super early, right off of that lane swap.
Tarzan still here.
Snuck behind them. Duro and Ruler, though, should be able to walk away. Good route onto Duro means that Tarzan can just wait out the flag and drag combo. Duro the first to fall. Tarzan looks for a little bit more, but can't quite catch out Ruler.
Hitting one should be doable.
Kyle, who is this hope here, is level 6. So he has the Pop Blossom if he wants to go for the fight. Switches into Tarzan, flag and drag in. There's a Hero's Entrance as well as they look for Ruler. There's the Pop Blossom from Kyle across the wall immediately. Canyon able to dodge away from it with a Hound's Pursuit, though. Ruler forced up towards the top side. One grub already secured for anyone's Legend. They'll take the second, and they will take the third alongside it.
I jokingly called this circle gaming, but that's exactly what you want, right? Like the setup.
Chovy going in onto Hope, immediately dashing forward. The Pop Blossom stolen away. Hope has to flash. Kyle will fall for it, though.
And it feels like a repeat of the play that AL found against Gen.G in game number 1.
There's the the taunt, sorry, is going to go on to Chovy. Kyle forced out the all-out on Hope. It's Hope that he's got. I thought it was the Shape Splitter, but Keen finds the all-out that he wanted, and Hope goes down.
Might end up being what the game revolves around. AL, though, setting up this objective.
Shanks is heading up from mid.
Canyon trying to get in for the steal. There's the eye there for him as well. Could use that with the smite. Tarzan will secure it. Pop Blossom on the backline. Ruler with a cleanse, but he's caught by the Strangled Thorns. The engage as well with a flash taunt. Keen getting chased away by Flandre, but he will manage to survive. Rifthold picked up by anyone's Legend.
Grab on the top side.
And with those sums not being available, Duro in particular is so susceptible to Tarzan as Gen.G is looking to fight.
Tarzan's being really greedy here. Chovy has stolen away the Cataclysm, but a good make it rain from Hope will slow them down enough. Tarzan going back in towards Chovy. The flank position as well from Shanks is not the best. He's knocked back and taken out. Gen.G claimed the Field of Warfare. Cataclysm flashed away by Hope as well. As in the end, AO just a little bit too greedy, staying around for that skull grab. Looks like Chovy's actually going to be stopped by Shanks. He's TPing behind them right now. Shanks on his way down, has that Hero's Entrance. The Dragon down to 5,000 HP.
Will be spotted.
TP coming across, as you say, Chovy spotted. Shanks looking for it. Tarzan goes in. There's a Hero's Entrance. Cataclysm mob, and that's the wombo combo that anyone's Legends were looking for. Keen goes all out, dashes forward onto Hope, and will get the kill. He'll fall for it. Good on Tofus with a 3-man knockup, but only Canyon and Chovy stay standing.
Really, really nicely done from AL, and you see the power of these ultimates when they're combined. They see Chovy coming in on the flank, and that is the go button, right? As soon as Shanks is able to go in, they end up cleaning up that Drake, and that's huge. They stop this early Drake stacking.
Incredible, both an incredible amount of AP as well as ability haste, and Neferi as well as Cassante in those fights. I think you're going to be feeling good about as possible pick.
As Chovy goes in, they're going to go for the fight. The flash away, but there's the Cataclysm for the follow-up. The taunt comes out, and Chovy is locked in the pit. He'll fall. Gen.G start up the Atakan. I think for anyone's Legend, the only thing you're ruining in this early game is the fact that Tarzan's the one that's got all the kills. 4-0-1 on this Jarvan. Does have a 1.5k gold lead, but obviously Jarvan, as the game goes on, falls off a little bit. Chovy caught out again as Flandre is looking for the chase. He can just dash across the wall. There's the Cataclysm, though, in from Tarzan. Hero's Entrance there for the follow-up, and Chovy has no flash to escape. Hope takes the kill. Chovy falls for the second time this game.
And Chovy,
8,000, yeah, I think it's just gone. Good call from Gen.G to sneak this one away. Pings come out from Tarzan as he spots that this is happening, but he can't get in range to get the smite off, and Gen.G pull off a heist.
Great recognition of the fact that AL are kind of resetting on this map, right?
Back into the action.
As we see, clearing out vision.
Oh, there's the TP.
Right back in.
That's aggressive.
Keen, Pop Blossom onto Ruler. Tarzan there for the follow-up. Cataclysm coming in, the Hero's Entrance, stolen away by Chovy. Will keep Ruler alive. Keen goes in with the all-out, pulling Tarzan back into the team. Canyon looking for the flank onto Flandre. He'll go in with a Hound's Pursuit, but Keen's already dead. Duro low as well. The Hero's Entrance countered by Shanks as he dashes forward. Chovy down, Ruler and Duro and Canyon, the only 3 left alive.
And Canyon was waiting, but to what end? AL, they weren't thinking about going back. Flandre not looking to retreat to the safety of his jungle. Instead, they were just playing forward.
And even when he did end up going on to Flandre, Shanks is there to help protect him, right? Which is absolutely massive.
We're able to keep Ruler alive for a decent amount, but it's the decision of Canyon to stay in the brush. I think Flandre as well hasn't died this game. Been, I think, having great positioning in the fights as well. Thus far has paid off for AL as Keen.
Should be able to get away from this one. Goes all out onto Shanks. He's going to knock back. He's taken out immediately by Flandre. Mum comes in. There's the all out, in fact, as the Catacomb comes out onto Ruler. Hero's entrance to the follow-up. There's a Pop Blossom as well. And AL are not done with this fight yet. Canyon trying to escape. Chovy so late on the TP, but Canyon's already down. And there's a Baron available for AL.
This Smolder pick from Flandre is absolutely showing up massively. I think I owe him an apology. I think you owe him an apology as well.
Yeah, you're in the clear. It's all on me here, Emily, as AL looking to take Baron and bring us to the promised game number... Well, actually, he didn't promise, but game number 5!
The game number 5 I wanted, but didn't promise.
Their jungle is not their own anymore. They do have 2 items on Chovy, 3 items on Ruler. Canyon is strong, you know, Black Cleaver, Spear of Sojourn is a lot, but they are just all so far in the hole when you look at their respective counterparts on AL.
He's strong, but this Nefiri pick has not been able to have the impact that Gen.G would have wanted. By contrast, Tarzan has absolutely controlled the pace of this game as we see the siege potential of this team coming out from both Hope and Flandre here. Shanks cleaning up that tier 2 in the mid. And they're just going to kind of go back and forth between these lanes.
Anyone's Legends are just walking. They're just walking menacingly at Gen.G, and they're having to retreat. Flandre looking for the inhibitor here down towards the bottom side. Will be able to secure it with the Baron buff up for another wave.
Going.
Using the Shape Splitter as well to eat those Cupcake. The Yordle Snapchat. Chovy goes in, Pop Blossom is going to land the hero's entrance there for the follow-up, but the bullet time! Hope Untouched just melts through Gen.G. Ruler and Juro, the only 2 left alive here. AL, do they have the waves to push in?
I think they do. They're going to try. They have grubs, so I think they have it.
They have the grubs, but the backdoor bonus, I think that cannon minion is too far away, so that tower actually gets a bit tankier. There's a wave coming in bot side, and it should be there in time. Still 30 seconds before any reinforcements arrive for Gen.G. Anyone's Legends strike back in game 4 and will take us to Silver Scrapes. Gragas known as a bit of a counter into the Camille. If she goes for the hookshot wall dive, obviously you can body slam, and then you have the explosive cask as well.
That's the big thing. There is so much safety to keep these big carries.
Getting back into this game, and Push is able to get that ward out. Canyon.
Shanks with the early flash, but Canyon's here for the chase. Chovy had the Rune Prison, and down goes Shanks. Canyon secures first blood. You're like, how important this series and this MSI is for the LPL. Like, BLG last year made 2 finals, weren't able to take the win in either of them. If AL can take down Gen.G here, it would just be such a great sign for the region. As Gen.G have taken 2 of the grubs. Keen goes in onto Tarzan, lands the stun. Kyle trying to get in there as well. Chovy and Duro there. Tarzan, good double impale. The Stand United is going to keep him alive, but now the explosive cast coming out as well. As Gen.G are looking for more. Hope down. Shanks and Flandre trying to retreat, but the Hexag Ultimatum will lock them up. There's the Blade Caller to follow up, and Shanks is dead. Flandre tries to jump the wall, and just as I was saying, it would be so good for anyone's Legends. Gen.G have other ideas.
I think for AL, we saw what is close to an ideal fight, because the amount of life that they were able to breathe into Tarzan, who looked like he was dead on arrival, right? There was the shield, there was the disengage from Gragas. They still kept him alive for a good amount of time. Is Hope!
Lands the hook onto Hope, and Hope almost gets out. Canyon able to take him down in the end, and now AO need to retreat. The Impel comes in, but there's a Realm Wall behind them as well. Tarzan and Shanks in the middle of 5. They'll get Canyon, but Shanks will fall next. Tarzan looking for Juro. Juro just walks away from them. Gen.G are absolutely shellacking AL.
Very aggressive play from Gen.G, right? Actually doing this through fight, something we don't often see. As mentioned, how they often get their leads is laning slowly into cross map, into you look at your turrets, they're gone, you're down 4,000 gold just by minions. But AL, I think in this series also not letting them really play that style, and in this game thus far, Gen.G has been bringing the fight to them as Flandre almost has his TP available. But the Drake is already gone. It's just the first Dragon. Get a numbers advantage and then play from there. But you can't just try and play a normal 5v5, particularly not with this Blitzcrank being on the prowl.
Kyle has a flank though onto Ruler, the cleanse away immediately. Juro still looking for more here as the TP comes in. Kyle has to flash away. Glacial Prison doesn't connect. Counter TP. Tarzan only with the Impale on one, and now Keen is there. Hexagon Momentum is going to take him onto the tower. The Stand United enough to shield up Tarzan, but now the shutdown comes over to Hope as the chase continues. Shanks joins the fight, and he's spitting out Venom. He finds the shutdown. Ruler the flash away! The Blade Caller, but the pull in from Juro's not enough! Shanks has found poison, and Gen.G will suffer. Tarzan chasing further forward, double twin fangs! AL roar into life!
Tarzan gets the suppress, and then just watch Shanks as he goes through this fight, coming in from the top side.
It's a second item. I think that Starix is going to be something when the Camille gets way more backline access, can stay alive for a lot longer. The base AD always going to be feeling great as Gen.G looking to start up this only second Drake of the game, the Hextech Drake here.
Kind of blessed in game 3 with how quickly they were being taken.
Gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, anyone's Legends deciding not to fight it. They have the Rift Herald, that's going to charge in. Feats will go over to Gen.G. Rift Herald will take the tower, Realm Warp in by Gen.G, but couldn't get there quickly enough to defend. I think that will be all that happens in that sequence, as it's just a tower for a Dragon Chain exchange.
Rise to kind of get this map pressure and Prio to be able to set up for this, as we see Chovy with the support of Duro here, able to take down this tier 1. Really nice from Gen.G. They're going to be able to get vision on this top side prior to the Otacon spawn.
Really across the board for everyone. Shanks on the side of AL, the main target for Gen.G, but the disengage that AL have is crazy. Gen.G, though, have the advantage of setting up shop first and might be looking to fish with that Blitzcrank hook.
Keen also taking the bot lane tier 1. Shanks had to back all the way off there. Does have his flashback up. Also has finished the Bloodletter's Curse. So taking Smite off the Unsealed Spellbook. Ruler's going to start up the Dragon. It's a 9,000, 7,000, 5,000 with the Blade Caller. AL needs to get in here. Sharpish. Explosive cast coming out. Kyle stepping forward with the Smite. But it's Canyon that secures it. Kyle's going to dash away. Chovy looking for that backline. The lands onto Tarzan. There's the Permafrost follow-up. And Ruler takes the kill. Gen.G begin to turn and burn, but they get hit with a rocket. Shanks and Hope step forward onto Keen. Canyon on the backline. Hope turning it around onto Sejuani. A hook onto Shanks though, as he's rooted up and shut down. The Hexagon made him enough to kill him off. Flandre now caught out with the Permafrost. Kaio's gonna die to Keen. And Gen.G have found the fight. They follow it up for a clean ace.
And Gen.G, a topside fight in the jungle now, but a distant memory as another team fight is won. The Dragon goes their way. And Otacon sure to follow.
And I love how they set that up. Again, pushing out that bot wave.
So that is actually a big deal.
You can see how Shanks really struggled to have an impact in that last fight, only at 1.5k, whereas Chovy sitting at almost 5,000 damage, and it's a 5,500 gold lead now for Gen.G. Anyone's Legends are looking for a play onto Keen, who does have the flash. He knew something was going on. Tarzan's going for the chase here, though. Underneath the tower, Tarzan's going to tank it up. There's the Miasma, into the Petrifying Gaze, into the Impale. Hexagon made him from Keen, into the flash. Oh, he missed the wall. He maybe would have escaped. But the hookshot wall dive just short.
Complete vision to set up for this Baron. They might just start it.
Ooh, how much was used there? Let's take a look at the cooldowns that AO invested. No Shanks ult, no Tarzan ult, no Kyle ult. As they start the object, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. Ruler is so strong. 3 items already complete. Obviously, Chovy there as well. Rise at 2 items is just going to rip through.
Rise coming to join the rest of Gen.G, pushing on to this tier 2. I mean, Gen.G can pretty much set up the map however they want. They have such strong split pushers in this composition, and it just makes it so difficult for AL to go in.
There's also the Blitzcrank, right? At any point, if you engage, you need to be mid lane.
Canyon stepping forward. Kyle looking for it. Ruler, though, so safe, so far away. So hard to collapse on. Keen continues to push through top. Does have that teleport. It's recalling now. Andre looking for a flank. No vision here for Gen.G. Now places a control ward in the tri-bush. Hope not really that strong, so his poke isn't really going to stick. TP comes in from Keen. As he looks for a flank of his own, has the GA, the hook connects again! And Chovy makes AL take a pew! Church is in session here for Gen.G. Keen on the backline, Flandre dead. Keen, you can't even pop his GA! The Angels are on the side of Gen.G. They get the triple, they get the ace, and they're looking to make it 21 series in a row.
Beautifully done from Gen.G. The picture-perfect execution of this composition. They are barreling down bot side for the end to move on at this MSI.
Nerves of steel for Gen.G in the final game. As Keen, yet another insane performance in this final one. As Gen.G.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.